So guys, when does Denny get to Pioneer? When's his first year?
So my brother, who's 5 years older than me, well, he actually graduated in '69. He swam for Denny. And so that was, I think Denny's first year was the fall of '68 to the spring of '69. My recollection is he was like a kid. He was like 24 or 25 years old when he came to Pioneer. And so he was still in his late 20s or so when I started swimming for him in the early '70s.
Describe for me a 28-year-old Denny Hill walking the deck. And because you may have had an opportunity to see how he evolved over 40 years of coaching, I'm interested in how he reflected against the finished product, but describe him as a 28-year-old.
Yeah. I consider myself to have been extremely fortunate to have gotten Denny at that stage of his life and career. He was single. He ultimately married Liz, and they became an enormously great partnership. My kids went to Pioneer, swam for Denny, swam for Liz, so I did get to see it over a period of about 40 years. But Denny, as a 20-something coach, it was an incredible time because he was learning how to coach. We were learning how to train. He was experimenting on us. We did some crazy stuff. And he was like, I almost want to say, a big brother or something like that, but that doesn't really do it justice because he was really looking out for us. But he would take us to meets in the Midwest, trying to expose us to things outside of the state of Michigan. Starting from when I was a sophomore, thanks to Denny, my goals were beyond winning the state meet or setting a state record. And I really credit Denny for that. And he would take us to meets in Chicago. And I remember he took us to the NCAA meet just to show it. It was in Cleveland. He just wanted us to see the NCAA meet. And it was really inspiring. And so Denny, as a bachelor, as a young coach, kind of learning how to do stuff, it was really a lot of fun. And as I look back, he coached my kids when he was, married and had kids of his own. He was a bit of a different Denny at that point, a lot of similarities, but Denny as a 20-something young coach was an amazing guy.
Paint the picture for me. I mean, is Denny the bus driver down to Cleveland? How do we do this? How do we get down to Cleveland?
We drove in a car. There were four of us.
All right.
There were four guys. Four.
I imagine Denny in a van with like 18 Pioneer guys in the back.
No, just four swimmers and Denny. And we stayed in one hotel room, 5 guys in a hotel room. It was a lot of fun. And, one of the things about Denny is he was obviously the kind of the data, the facts speak for themselves. He was a great coach. But he was also, I don't think he could have built what he built at Pioneer without really caring about everybody and their families and helping to develop young men and women. He created a culture, I think is the best way to say it, that I think started in my, I guess that's going to be backwards on Zoom. No. Pioneer, go like Hill. That started in my era, and that's a cap that my kids were still wearing 30 years later. So that it was really the cool thing to do, is to be on the swim team, swim for Denny, get better and better every year, and be part of that kind of Pioneer tradition.